Good evening and welcome to the October board meeting for Waseca Public Schools. Today is Thursday, October 27th, 2022. It is 5:30 p.m. and we are in the Central Building second floor conference room. And we'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, well, thank you all for being here. We will continue then with the item 3, approval of agenda. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion we approve the agenda.
Second.
First and a second, any discussion? All right, hearing none, I will call for a vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Moving on then to recognition of visitors. And we do have one person in the audience who wishes to speak. So James Christensen, if you'd like to come on up. So our public forum, you would have limit comments to 5 minutes or less. And his topic is on public meeting procedures. And Mr. Christensen, if you could also just state your address.
I'll state more than that. My name is James Christensen. I live 1 block east of the courthouse at 125 3rd Avenue Northeast. I have no children or no grandchildren in the school system at the present time, nor do I plan on having any. My wife was an employee of this district for 31 years as a para. My daughter-in-law was on this same board for 4 years. I think it was 4, I'm not certain. The reason I came to you this evening is because of what occurred at a city meeting. It dealt with public input, or what's called public comments. And in gathering information about public comments, I gathered a lot of information I want to share with you. And please, I appreciate it if you don't ask questions. I know you won't. But here's some things. Board size. You are a board, I think, of 7 people, are you not? 7 city, 5 for the county. You meet monthly, but you have a work session on but third Thursday at 5:30. Okay, and the other 2 meet bi-weekly. Your meeting time is 5:30, city is 7, and the county meets in the morning. Where do you meet? The county meets in an annex, city hall, and central building. Do you always meet here? Okay. Public comment. I'm going to come back to public comment because I don't think you do it in the right procedure way I don't think the city does. The county does it the way I like it done. Okay. Your agenda. 2 of the 3 review payments. I think 1 person on your board reviews payments. I don't understand that because I know the city doesn't. So I know a committee I serve on, we don't do it either. I serve on the board for the Maple Terrace. Okay, and so does Mr. What's your name again? Dunn. Yes. And your consent agenda. 1 review, I don't even know, property tax rate. I know that my taxes, you are second highest of what I pay in my taxes, property tax. The county rates, no, did I say second? You are third. City is second. City is first. County is second. And you are third. In your action items on your agenda, at the one I looked at that I had at the time, I see a lot of the word we. I don't understand what we means. I don't think it means you as the board. But it really led me to a lot of confusion with your agenda. Public TV. I can't get the county doesn't provide it, the city does, and you do in a way. I think your meetings, I can look at them on the internet. Okay. Length of term of the people sitting here. I think you are all 4-year term people, am I correct? Correct. Okay. I don't know how well you're compensated for this. I don't know how well the county is, but I know that my son serving as a council member is compensated well, very well. I look about amongst you, your nameplates are all turned to where I can't see who you are. I know most of you. I think the lady right there is the one I walked in with, and I'm sorry I forget your name. I try to remember names well. I don't know who you are.
I'm the student representative.
Well, you're along with these people in the audience from Mr. Hansen's class.
No, I'm a member of the student council that got selected by the principal and our advisor.
Okay.
To just
She
let
comes to all
people
of
know.
our meetings.
Oh, she does? I see, and you're Mrs. Mansfield, I suspect.
Yes.
Okay, I'm James Christensen. I know your husband, I don't know him by name or anything, I see him on TV. I'm going to get back to my question about public comment.
You have about 1 minute. so-
Okay, are you going to cut me off at that time?
Well, we do have 5 minutes.
I know I do, and I try to, that's why I'm trying to be quick here. Public comment, in my mind, should be something that you hold prior to approval of your agenda. I don't know how you handle public comment, but I saw it at the city council be turned into a business action item. And if that is required at the same meeting as I provide public comment, you shook your head there. Did you?
Why don't you finish? Go ahead.
Okay.
Yep.
I would like to then request that it be put on your agenda. But since you've approved your agenda, I wouldn't know how to go about that. So I would prefer to see you do your public input before you do your approval of agenda, so that I could then have the opportunity to request that it be part of your agenda. Okay? So I have other things, but I'll come to another meeting. Okay? I thank you very much for the opportunity. And I am going to leave because I know I can watch the rest of this meeting. I might stay around a little bit, but I got pizza to order.
Thank you, Mr. Christensen.
Thanks, Jim.
All right, we also did have on, under our recognition of visitors, a message from our student council rep, specifically Lindsay. Yes, please, yep. And she's here to talk about Snow Week and a request pertaining to Snow Week.
Hello, my name is Lindsay Kopetsky, and I am a representative from the student council. We are asking that for Snow Week, we allow students to get into games for free. We did this for homecoming week, and it was very successful, and we are just asking for permission to do it again for Snow Week. It was great to see students taking advantage of it, and we hope that we can continue to do this for Snow Week.
Okay.
Thank you. Any questions?
No? Yeah.
Awesome, thank you.
I will circle back with Mrs. Nelson, because that will be something I think we'll continue to support. But I'll confirm with the board at that appropriate time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And can I just say that in
Yeah.
response to Mr. Christensen, we could certainly put out a simple statement explaining our public comment period and refer people to our policy and why we do it the way that we do it. So with that-
And we do not put anything on the action item
No.
in the same meeting pending a public comment.
So, and a lot of that is partly because we like to have time to review
Correct.
action items.
Right.
So that is the reason. So, and then we did not have anyone send any emails asking to be read at a meeting, but you are certainly welcome to send an email to wasecadistrict@gmail.com, and we'll read at our next meeting if you would like. And always, of course, feel free to reach out to any board member with questions or to the superintendent's office as well at any time. So that does not have to be pertaining to a meeting. So, all right, moving on then to our payment of claims. And Director Shepard, you had the privilege of reviewing our claims.
Yes, I did review the payment of claims for the month of September, and I recommend approval of the accounts payable of $1,416,173.82 and the payroll of $880,966.94.
Second.
A first and a second, any discussion? I'm assuming this does not include dental for the month, is that correct? Yeah, no dental?
It does, dental.
It does.
It does include, okay. All right, thank you. Since it wasn't called out as it does not include, I just wanted to ask, so. Any other discussion? Hearing none, then I will call for a vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Can I get a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda?
I'll make a motion that we approve tonight's consent agenda.
Second.
First and a second, any discussion? Hearing none, we will call for a vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous. All right, moving on then to our information items, and this month is one of our new items under this topic. So we're going to have building reports or department reports. Tonight we have our report from our Director of Community Education and Recreation, Mr. Paul Demort. You can, yes, you can sit there. Yes. Unless you feel the need to walk around while you're reporting.
I do actually like to walk around. So as you can see, we put together a PowerPoint and we'll just quickly talk through it. It's pretty self-explanatory, but we'll just keep going if we just want to go to the next one. General information about community ed. It encompasses a number of different areas. We have the Family Education Center, which is mostly our preschool classes, school age care, which is our child care portion, enrichment and recreation classes. We handle all the facilities in our community ed office. We also take care of adult basic ed and our opening opportunities program, which is for adults with disabilities. At the bottom, you can see our office has one director, which is myself, and we have one financial coordinator as well inside our office. We're the full-time people. The next one, so a little more detail on our Family Ed Center. The Junior J's preschool is the biggest portion of that. We have 5 teachers and 5 pairs. We teach 7 sections of class for 3 to 5-year-olds. The Family Ed Center does all of our early childhood screenings. We have 10 different dates throughout the year, and we do about 130 screenings for kids that are between 3 and 5 years old. Census compilation for 0 to 4-year-olds is housed in our office, or in their office, which is a part of our umbrella. And the early childhood family education, which is those parent-child classes, we have 4 sections of parent-child classes throughout the year. The next one then is our school age care. We have one coordinator for our age 33 month through 6th grade program. A little bit of a tongue twister there. We have 1 staff in each of our 3 preschool rooms, and that also provides the wraparound care for the children that are also a part of our preschool classes. We transport them to and from the preschool classes. It's all in this building, so it's as simple as walking them down the hall. Our K-6 program provides care before and after school as well as non-school days, and that's staffed primarily by high school age students. And we also provide a summer child care program for age 33 months through 6th grade, and that's full day program for every day of the summer except for the 4th of July. Enrichment and recreation, that's our year-round program for ages birth to our most senior community members. Within that organization, I do most of the work for that, but we have a part-time recreation coordinator who helps us with that recreation programming. We have a part-time gymnastics lead who coordinates that program, and we have a part-time dance coordinator who helps coordinate the dance program, because I know nothing about dance and I need help with that. The other ones are a little quicker. Facilities and ABE and opening opportunities. Our office coordinates all the facility scheduling and rentals. So for all of our internal programs that want to reserve a space, like gyms and auditoriums and rooms and commons and stuff like that, they go through our office, and the facility calendar is online, and we put everything on there. And then outside organizations, our biggest users are, Waseca Basketball Association for all the youth basketball programs, and the JO volleyball and stuff like that. So they rent out gym space, and we coordinate that. And then if there's a rental on the weekends, we need to provide an event supervisor to open the school and then close it up at the end. ABE, we contract the ABE, which is Adult Basic Education Services. We host them here in the Central Building, but we contract that service through a co-op, which is housed in the LeSueur-Henderson School District. And our opening opportunities, we do have a part-time opening opportunities coordinator for our adults with disability program, and we basically have 2 events per month for that population in our residential area. And so then the next one, when it comes to how do we do, our program is all registration and fee-based. We are a separate fund balance from the 01 fund balance, and so all of our programs are registration related. And so our performance measures are based on, how many offerings are we having? What are the enrollments in those programs? And then feedback from patrons on, hey, that was a great one, let's do it again, or yeah, that one wasn't so great, we need to either fix it or maybe try something else. And so in summary, our enrollment numbers right now are very steady, and we're slowly increasing the number of opportunities. It's difficult to find people to offer classes, but we're trying to beat the bushes to come up with more offerings for us.
And you included something on that in your last brochure, right?
Yep.
If community members feel like they want to teach a class.
We did put an
please
ad
reach
in our
out.
last brochure that if you had some skills and you'd be willing to share, we'd love to hear from you. I actually had one lady give me a call, and we actually are going to add some sourdough cooking classes, or I don't know, they're just going to make the dough, and then the cooking will come later. Then in terms of one of the activities in some of our focus areas, I just thought I'd give you a quick update on one of them, and I chose community engagement by increasing partnerships. We're trying to build as many meaningful partnerships with our community as possible. I mean, the word community is exactly in our department name, Community Ed, so it kind of makes sense. Currently, we have partnerships existing between Community Ed and the following. Waseca Art Center is our biggest one. They do all of our art classes, and we do all the registration. It's just a wonderful partnership. We're trying to expand our offerings through them, and so hopefully we'll see some variety there. Waseca Senior Center is a new one. We're just getting started. We're actually going to move our over 55 driver education classes to their site, which is much more easy for our seniors to get to because they have their own little parking lot. It's all on the first floor. Currently, we're housing them in this space, and so sometimes it's difficult for our seniors to get in here. So that's going to be great. I'm trying to work with some of the people at the senior center who attend and to try to twist their arm and say, hey, do you have a skill you'd like to share? And we can get that going. The Waseca Public Library, we do some stuff with the children's librarian there. She comes to our classes and does some reading and some activities with our kids. Farm America was a new one this last summer because we hosted the community garden out there. They had a great space, and so it went really well, and we're going to probably do it again next summer, so that was good. The city of Waseca is a big one for us. The water park, we do a lot of SAC, school-age care summer trips out there. The Parks Department is big. Brad Duchaw, because we use some of their fields for t-ball and stuff, and then we also have that space down at Clear Lake Park that we rent kayaks and canoes and paddle boards out of in the summer, so we work closely with them. The Waseca Rotary is we have the Rotary readers that are going to come into the class, so those of you that are in the Rotary maybe should come and read.
I'm signed up.
All right, there you go. So that's just a quick report on how we're doing in that particular area. If we want to go to the next one, Caitlin. On our vision card, one of our topics is to increase the number of students prepared for kindergarten. And I use the word prepared as opposed to ready. The word ready, if you ask the state, there's only 3 things to be ready officially for kindergarten: that you're 5 by September 1st, you have all your immunizations, and you've had an early childhood screening. That's it. That's the definition of technically being ready for kindergarten. So we like to use the word prepared, which is teaching our kids some skills before they get there. So in our preschool classes, we do a great deal of social skill instruction so that when kids are going to school in kindergarten, they understand what it is to be at school and they can handle that concept. We began using Blue Jay Way at Junior Jays this year because our K-12 program uses the Blue Jay Way, and they have a chart with all the expectations. So we made one for our preschool this year at our Junior Jays, so we're just introducing that. One of the feedbacks we got from Mr. O'Brien at Hartley is how kindergartners struggle when they go to lunch for the first 2 months because they don't get the lunch line concept. So we're trying to introduce the lunch line concept, so at least when they go to kindergarten, they've at least seen it before and have kind of understood a little bit about it. And then we work with the kindergarten transition form, which is developed between us and the kindergarten teachers. And that's the end. So that's our report on community education.
Questions?
Wow, they're speechless. I love it.
They're so organized.
There's a lot on your plate, isn't there?
We have a lot under our umbrella, but that's what makes it fun because it's every day's different. And So
Are
it's-
you, are you still looking for help with school-age care?
School-age care and getting staff is a biggest issue for us right now, and so we got some leads. We're going to try to hire some more staff so that hopefully after the new year we can add some more openings for our parents and children. But yeah, that's been, I mean, we're not alone in that boat. People are struggling to find staff in all areas of work.
You said you do staff that with a lot of high school students?
Yeah, so our before and after school program is basically, especially the after school program. We have a couple morning staff that are pretty reliable, but the after school, I mean,
Is there a minimum
not many
age?
adults want just a 1 hour or 2 hour a day job. That
Yeah.
doesn't really do it for them. So
Is
that's,
there a
but
minimum age requirement for that, or?
15,
Okay.
16 to be alone with kids.
Yep.
But sometimes if we have a 15-year-old, we just pair them with somebody else, and so we have a couple people in the room just to. So we're getting there,
Yeah.
but it's a long process.
Are the preschool are they all half day, or do you have some full day? I can't.
So the 3-year-olds come 2.5 hours, 3 days a week.
Okay.
The 4-year-olds come 2.5 hours, 4 days a week. And then we do have one program for 4 and 5-year-olds that comes all day, every day.
Okay.
And there are some, you have to qualify for that program. There are some indicators that you have to maybe need a little extra. They kind of basically do what the 4-year-old program does. They just have more time to do it because there's some extra needs there.
Any other questions for Paul?
Are these your teachers, do they all have a teaching certificate, or?
So in order to teach the preschool, it's a regular teaching license, just like anybody in the K-12 program. It is a license, and yeah, it's a separate license. So if you're a K-6 teacher, you cannot teach preschool without that license.
Okay.
So it's an additional.
Are your numbers coming up? Because I know of three daycare providers that are not doing it anymore this year.
So daycare is different. That's our school-age care program, and that is a growing problem in the state of Minnesota for sure, because there's, I think, not to get on a soapbox, but I think the state is making it difficult for daycare providers, and a lot of people are saying that's too much red tape and too many requirements, and they get out. We theoretically would have an unlimited number of spots if we had staff. In terms of preschool, actually, this year right now, I think our preschool classes this particular year are just slightly smaller than the past couple of years, but I think there is a small cohort in our 3-4-year-old in the city. I think it's just so slightly smaller than in the past, and Elizabeth's nodding her head, so she must have seen that data too.
So are these the classes all held in this building?
That is correct.
How many classrooms are you using for?
We use 7 classrooms in the west wing, so to speak. So 5 of them are classes, and then we have 2 extra spaces where we, for part of each class, we break our class into smaller groups, and
Okay.
we get them into separate spaces, so that way the kids get a little more individualized attention, and it's been working great. We actually discovered it over the pandemic, and it worked so well, we just kept it.
Okay, there were some good things that came out of the pandemic.
Yeah, we don't want to say it too loud, though. But yes, that is one of the things that we were forced to do it because of the pandemic, and it worked so well, we kept it.
And then
So how many classrooms are in that wing? I'm not familiar with that.
There are 8 classrooms in that
So you're using
west.
7 to 8 then, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Plus some classrooms for school-age care and.
Right, so that's just the preschool classes. Our school-age care is in a separate part of the building,
Okay.
and so we have 3 preschool rooms, and then after school for our K-6, we use some of the rooms up here on 2nd floor, and then actually, Head Start is actually housed in this building too, so they have a couple rooms on 1st floor as well.
Best guess, how much of this building does Community Ed use for any and all of your programs?
How much of the, like, percentage-wise?
Yeah.
We're probably, if you add it all up, half, probably.
Okay.
We're probably the biggest user. ALC is all a 3rd floor, but we basically have all a 2nd floor, most of 1st floor. We all share the gym. We have the dance studio. So I'd say we're probably half. That's a guess.
Well, the
Okay.
reason I'm interested in that is because that's one of the questions we go with the whole Hartley issue. Why can't you use Central? What's the matter with Central? You know, I say, well, it's being utilized, so that's just,
So I would say during a school day, which would obviously be the biggest hurdle to adding grades or students here, is there's probably 4 empty rooms during the day. But those 4 rooms are used after school.
okay.
That's,
There's a lot more in here than I think most people know.
And you got a budget, what's your budget?
depends on the program, right?
We probably are about 1.2 or 1.3 million each year, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Okay. That's substantial.
If Elizabeth would give us more, we'd be more.
Registration.
Sorry, Elizabeth.
Registration and feedback.
Yeah, registration and fee-based. I know. That is how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically, I mean, everything that you bring in, income-wise, you put back into your program.
That is correct.
Yeah.
And so our goal is to come out just barely above.
Break even.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we try
That's
to make just a little bit, so maybe we can add some stuff to our program
Sure.
or stuff like that. But it's true, some years we end up a little right below the line, and then other years we end up a little above the line. And
Great.
When you talk to other community ed directors in the area or around the state, how are we doing, in your opinion, with everybody else? Or
I would say for the most part, we're in pretty good shape. We're in pretty good shape. Our community has returned to community ed a lot faster than some of the other ones. I'd say right now the only section of our population that hasn't really kind of returned is our senior population going on some of our bus trips, because we just started getting those bus trips back. And so that population hasn't returned yet. But for the most part, we bounced back better than most everybody else.
Any other questions or comments for Paul?
Well, I would just say thank you for being the
Yes.
first as we start
Yeah.
this
Thank you for being
new
here.
report process. I think it'll be great to hear from our departments and buildings in a more formal setting than we see through our staff spotlights.
Yeah.
And from some of our leadership teams. So we appreciate you being first and
My
the thorough
pleasure.
report, and glad you're here.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, then we will continue with our superintendent report.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. Great. Good evening, and what a great way to start our meeting, to hear about some of the great things that are happening with community ed and rec. And that program is something that I know several years ago there was some decisions that had to be made in terms of getting back into a positive fund balance in some of our programs. And so I appreciate that we're heading down that path with community ed and rec. So for tonight, I want to focus on essentially two things with you. And the first is the progress on our strategic plan and where we are in several of our focus areas. Paul mentioned focus areas in his report as well, and you'll hear that from our leaders as they talk about their buildings and departments, because we are laser focused on improving in these areas and continuing to grow. In student achievement, right now we're focused on finishing our world's best workforce information, which will be presented to you later this calendar year here. That's a December submission to the state, and then developing our vision cards for the 22-23 year, which you saw in a previous meeting. And now, we have just finished our first round of goal-setting meetings with our principals and directors, and are starting to work and finalize their vision cards for their department and building as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing that continue just to become more focused and more a part of our district, from, as they use the phrase, boardroom to classroom. When you think about that with the vision cards, and right now we're working through that and getting to the point where now our PLC goals and our instructional goals are really feeding into the goals all the way up to the vision cards, and that's only going to serve our students well. We are looking at, from a student support perspective, starting to look at some assessments here that'll happen in the next probably 60 to 90 days, thinking about the support positions we have and how do they best meet students' needs. We know, just based on reality, that we're going to have some budget decisions to make probably in the next year or so, and we want to continue to make sure that we have positions in the right spots to support students as best they can, to impact instruction as minimal as possible. So starting that work right now in preparation for, it's really a spring conversation, but we want to have enough background so we can have those conversations intelligently based on results with everything. Recruiting and supporting staff is the big part of our workforce focus area. As Paul mentioned, we're continually working on focusing on our areas that we are still working to hire some folks. We always do have, it seems like there's a little bit of turnover just consistently with some of our paras, some of our custodial work, and we don't have positions that are just sitting, but it's a consistent work to keep that going. And so Elizabeth and the principals and Jill Forshee and the HR office are doing a great job recruiting and keeping staff supported throughout the way. You see some of them through your district emails with insurance and benefits, and you know, I think and the folks who are on that committee can speak to this, but we've had to make some changes here to our benefit packages in order to support our student or our staff so it's sustainable, and Elizabeth and her team leading the charge on making sure that we work collaboratively with our staff so they feel good or feel supported anyway. Community engagement is a big part of our work right now. When it comes to thinking about our facility planning, as you mentioned a few minutes ago, Charlie, a big portion of our fall really is about getting information out to our community about what we know about our facilities. I'll speak a little more to that specifically here, a few bullet points later. And then also defining our partnerships. Paul did an exceptional job of defining, here's who we partner with and that's what we do with them. And that's going to be a significant part of our work here in this school year. Carrie Wadd, in partnership with Brooke, is working on that this school year. So we know that, you know, this business, we send students to them for work-based learning. This business, they come and do tours with our students. Because as we know, there's lots of interest in partnerships with our businesses, but it's hard to define what that is. So that's going to be something that we have moving forward. And the goal on a lot of that is going to be registration, really, come February 1st, when our registration guide is open, so students have more opportunities to know what their pathway may look like. And then finally, in the academic programmings and teaching learning areas, you know, as teachers are working through their PLC goals, we're now, you know, 2 months into the school year, so they've had a chance to really get to know their students for this year, see what their goals are to continue to grow. I want to reiterate this, a little bit of that broken record of, you know, this is where we are and it's okay, but we have to keep moving forward. And I just read an article, I think, Dave, you might have been one that you had shared with me, about even in higher ed, why our students aren't as prepared as they used to be. Well, life happened. And so now here's where we are. And so we're going to keep moving forward. And we're going to make more than a year's growth with a lot of our kids, as we see from our DAC reports from the fall and from last year. Many of our students made aggressive growth in the last year. Our benchmark may have some room to continue to improve, but our students are growing. And so as our teachers work through those PLC goals, I have not, this being my third fall here in the district, probably the most normal of the three, if that's such a thing, right, because of the pandemic, but our teachers are really digging into the student results and really digging into what can we use them for to improve instruction. It's not about thinking about last year and lamenting about our scores. It's about how do we use them to get better. And that's really what our teachers are digging into with our principal leadership, and Brooke has been exceptionally influential in that with our teaching and learning team to really think about, it's important because we use it. That's why. And then, of course, starting here coming up probably shortly, we'll do our first 30-day feedback loop on our professional development to see what our staff felt about their PD and their professional day, and have an opportunity to get their feedback on that. So I think our strategic plan, I know our strategic plan is continuing to drive our work. It's something that I come back to every single meeting intentionally. Brooke and Elizabeth can attest, every single leadership team meeting, it's a focus of what we talk about, because that's going to be our benchmark. That's what's going to lead us down the road. We want to be prepared come 2024, as we think about the next 5-year plan, to really assess how we've done, where we are, how we move forward to the next 5 years. So before I move to the community engagement bullet, any questions on strategic plan work we've got going on right now? I covered a lot there.
You did. That was good.
It's nice to see them reports monthly, though.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Do the teachers meet with the students, since, you know, are the students doing goal setting? I guess we talk a lot about the instructional goal setting. Are the students doing goal setting? You know, I want to be a 4.0 student this year. I want to be a 3.0 student. Do students do that?
I would say that's probably more, well, I could ask Lindsay or ask Brooke to speak more to that, but the answer is yes, but it's just customized to what each student needs. I think there are some grade levels, particularly the younger grade levels, that may do more individual settings versus a classroom setting, or again, I want to go to this particular school, so this is my goal and my pathway. I mean, would you say you have access to that goal setting?
Definitely. There was one day in Connect where we did take a day and make goals, and then I think at some point we'll go back and see if we actually achieved them. But I know for seniors and upperclassmen, it's been more of, okay, we're going to push all this college information at you. So we have these Blue Jay Bridge pages that the counselors set up, and it's awesome, has all the links for seniors. And so that's more what they've been focusing on for the upperclassmen,
Okay.
less of goal setting, but more of, like, here's how to help your future.
Kind of future planning.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, very good. Thank you. It's nice to have you at the meeting to be able to ask the question. Great. For community engagement, I think the big emphasis here is we're continuing to communicate about what's going on with our facilities. And the community is going to see a lot of that in the next 60 days from us. The mailing should be out hopefully by the end of this week or beginning of next, which will be that first flyer that's going to cover essentially the first of our several bullet points about what's going on with our facilities. We're going to cover what's the status of the Hartley building right now, or cover what some of our options are, what are some of the costs involved, and then what are some things that districts do to fund those kind of things. So we'll do a lot of informations delivery here in the next 60 days. The goal being by the end of the calendar year, really that our community knows what we know, and the decision will be then there'll be the next step after that. But first things first, you know, the board with task forces, with our consultants, has done a lot of work to learn a lot about what's going on. And so you're all very knowledgeable. And now it's time to share some of that with our community. And so the next several weeks we'll do that. So I'm excited about that. Tomorrow morning is my next coffee with the superintendent, and I hope that that'll be well attended. I'll be at the Pheasant at 9 o'clock. Look forward to visiting with everybody who's there. I'll probably be there before that because I'll have a lot of folks to talk to. That's a fun place to always go and visit and talk to folks. And then I also just want to make sure that the community knows that we are here, we are accessible. Please reach out to us with any questions you have about what's happening with the district, what's happening with your students. You know, so much of what we are relearning after the pandemic is how people appreciate being communicated with. And so if there's things you're missing or you're wondering about or hearing a snippet, please reach out to us. Reach out to my office there with Caitlin, and she'll get you on the calendar with myself or with Elizabeth or any one of our leadership team to answer your question. Because what's most important right now is that everybody takes the time to get accurate information about just what's happening with, quite frankly, the district and the world in general. And I'm always happy to sit down with people. Rather than let something linger and wonder in your mind, please just ask, and we'll continue to work through that. So.
I agree, yeah. If you have a question, there's never a wrong question, so,
No.
yeah.
No, that's what we're here for.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, all right, well, thank you. Any other questions for Mr. Hudspeth? Okay. Moving on then to our report from Elizabeth.
All right, thank you for your time this evening. I've got two topics I'd really like to cover with you, enrollment being one and then insurance being the other. So I'll lead the conversation regarding enrollment. Just want to mention we've had an extremely productive October. We're making some great progress with the audit, and with the audit comes final numbers, right? So we are looking at where did our final enrollment come in for fiscal year 22? As you all know, enrollment drives our state aid, which is the largest revenue driver for our budgets. And so extremely positive news. We had budgeted to decline about 14 students, and our final number is coming in of a decline of 8 students. So again, even though that seems very minimal, for us, that's really where we want to be. We don't want to see these big swings of estimates being so unpredictable. We're not quite sure where it's going to land. And so I think we truly are finally settling into where our actual enrollments are going to be and being able to better predict moving forward where we're going. So again, I overall extremely positive narrative on where we're headed with our audited numbers. And as hopefully you've seen in the school board agenda, kind of looking at where we are this year so far, extremely consistent where we were last year, which again is an extremely positive message. Being conservative, and when we built the budget for fiscal year 23, so the current year that we're in now, we did project to have a slight decline again. So if we continue to maintain where we are right now, and if it's in alignment with where we were last year, when we do a budget revision, we should be able to maybe increase that student count a little bit more to helpfully give us a better estimate of where we're going to end fiscal year 23. So again, I think overall a very positive narrative of where we are, and like I said, truly settling in, I think, where our actual enrollment will be moving forward. Any questions with enrollment at all? Okay. Moving on to our other big topic for the month is open enrollment. So this will be an extremely busy time for our HR department, and with open enrollment right around the corner. So all of our insurance plans or insurance benefits run on a calendar year. And we met with the Insurance and Safety Committee on October 17th to discuss our January 1 health and dental renewal. And I just first want to make a comment on how extremely appreciative I am of the committee and all of the work and the discussion that goes into these decisions that we need to make. And I also am extremely appreciative of our broker, Mark Beltz. He's been watching this. He's been a part of our district for multiple years. He knows our information, he watches our data, and he's extremely proactive on behalf of the district. And so we knew that we would have a challenging renewal coming up. And so he was able to advocate on behalf of Waseca Public Schools and give us options to consider. And I know not all districts were in that boat. And we were extremely fortunate this year that we were able to have some options to even consider. So again, we had 3 options to look at the Insurance and Safety Committee. And again, I just having the amount of voices on the committee to be able to ask questions, share comments, and help us really guide one another as a district to make the best decision for our employees is extremely valuable. And so I do believe we're going to be moving forward with the best proposal that we had to review. We will be moving away from our current carrier. And we will be seeing an increase, but we hope again that we are making the best decision for all of our employees that we possibly can. And with this move, we are also guaranteeing a max increase for next year as well. So I think a lot of benefits that are coming with this. We did record a video yesterday afternoon to hopefully make it a little bit more digestible for our employees as we start rolling out open enrollment. Mark Beltz was able to walk through the plan that we did choose. And so that will be available for employees to review as many times as they possibly need to make sure that they're making the best decisions for them and their families. So again, I think an overall extremely positive experience, not the most exciting of topics. And like I said, it's a challenging year, but I think the best outcome did rise to the top. And also wanted to talk about our dental renewal. So that is our own plan. We have our own dental policy. It's a reimbursement plan that is basically self-insured with the district. You will see that on the board agenda. The reason that the dental is on the board agenda and not the health insurance plan, since the dental is our own and our plan calls out that it needs final school board approval, that is why that is on the board agenda for the board approval. So we are looking at increasing a benefit for our employees. Our dental plan has had an extremely healthy fund balance for the past couple of years. We have watched that. We have tried to adjust to make sure that that benefit really goes back to our employees. That's really where it should be. But we're also trying to make sure that we maintain a healthy enough balance to be able to sustain that. Since we've had some great years, again, the committee did put it to a vote, and they are suggesting that we do increase the benefit for our employees, and that's what we're bringing to you as the school board this evening. And then again, that would be in effect, for January 1, 2023. Any questions for that? And I know we've got some committee members from the Insurance and Safety Committee. I don't know if there's anything else you would like to add or want me to add to the conversations that did happen.
For me, I just would like to thank you, Jill and Mark, for all the work that you put into that. I know it was a lot of information to get out to everybody, and I know that our employees are definitely going to appreciate that.
I agree.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yep. Okay. Anything else, Elizabeth?
Nope. Thank you so much for your time.
All right, thank you. All right, then we'll move on to our committee and board member reports. Charlie, do you want to start us off?
Well, I think I was at a policy meeting, and we're going to talk about the policy issue coming up here in a few minutes.
Okay.
So,
We had the superintendent evaluation committee, and as usual, Eric walked us through his goals and progress, and we see progress, and there is no question that we just like to hear from him every time we meet. And then we had facility committee, and I will let you guys to talk about it.
Okay. All right, thank you. Lindsay.
All right, so it's pretty busy at the school right now.
I'm sure it is.
First on the list is that the girls cross country team won sections today, and they are going to state. So we are so happy for them,
Yep.
and we cannot wait to see how they do. There's a volleyball section game tonight here at the high school at 7 p.m. So after this meeting, everyone should go watch the game, cheer them on. There's also a section football game on Saturday, also in Waseca at 2 p.m. The student council will be meeting tomorrow to talk about our upcoming food drive for December. We did it last year and it was really successful, so we're hoping for the same results. And we are also going to be starting grade level service projects and starting to look at Snow Week a little bit and plan ahead. There's a choir concert tomorrow night at 7 p.m. in the PAC, so please come and support our choirs. The marching band indoor is themed opposites this year, and it is November 10, 11, and 12 at 7 p.m. We are very, very excited, and we have our long Saturday rehearsals coming up in the next couple weeks, so we're looking forward to those. We also have a fall play coming up titled Little Women, and that will be November 17, 18, and 19 at 7 p.m., and then November 20th at 4 p.m. I believe ticket sales will start soon, so that's really exciting. And then finally, we just finished our last round of the coffee break debates yesterday. They were really successful, and it was really awesome experience for students and for community members to see that. If you wish to view them, they are on YouTube and our school website. So please look into those before Election Day.
Anything else?
Well, that's all.
Just kidding. Thank you. That was great. Grant.
I think policy committee was the event I was on, and as Charlie said, we reviewed a number of them, and they're all listed on the end of our agenda.
Okay. Thank you.
Went to a facilities committee meeting today. In the last month, 2 personnel committee meetings and policy, and it's pretty much all been covered.
Okay.
All of mine have been covered.
Anything you want to add?
We did talk a little bit about the audit at our finance and the levy and what we're looking at for hopefully a decrease. So that was, everything else has pretty much either been covered by Elizabeth or Eric.
Okay.
So.
Yep. Yeah, I just had insurance and safety, which Elizabeth went through. I appreciate that our broker recognized the increased costs that were coming with our current provider and gave the district options to keep those increases as low as possible. So that was my first time it's my first year on this committee, so I haven't seen this discussion yet, and that was interesting
Well,
beyond belief. But yeah, it
and
was.
to
It was
catch
good.
it early like he
Yeah.
did,
Yeah.
we are definitely in front of the ball game instead of behind.
Yeah, it was a really full discussion, and definitely our district is in a good position because of that. So I really appreciated that. And then Superintendent Evaluation Committee, and I just want to, of course, Eric's always really organized with his goals and his progress towards those goals. But one of the interesting things he mentioned was that he had his leadership team kind of give him feedback, and so he kind of shared some of the feedback that he got from his leadership team, and the leadership team are getting feedback from their own staff, and I think that that's just a really a great way for everyone to have personal growth in their positions. So I appreciated that. So I think that's all I had for committees. So we can move on then to our recognitions and positive board feedback. And you want to start us off again, Charlie?
Sure. Football team. Football team is doing excellent this year. They've only lost one game, and they lost it by a point, or 2 points, because to win, they would have to have 2 more points. So, but they did really well. Congratulations to the kids that are playing, and also to the coaches, the good job that they do. I went to the preview out there, and there were kids running all over the place out there, and I just, how do you organize something like that? So I really have to hand it to the coaches and the school for putting that program together. The kids are really enjoying it and having a good time. And I was to the Laverne game here last Wednesday night, and I think Waseca had as many fans at that Laverne game as what Laverne had at their game.
It was not a pleasant evening, so.
It was nice.
Weather-wise, was it nice?
It was a beautiful
Oh.
night, yeah, a beautiful sunset and everything there, so it was a beautiful night. But it's 2.5 hours on the road each way, it's a long ways over there, but the fans were there, so it was good. So we're supporting them guys, and so there's a big game coming on Saturday again, so
Nice.
hopefully they don't look ahead too far. They gotta play this game, they gotta play them one at a time now, but I'm excited about seeing the kids play and having a good time.
I heard there was a Thompson kid that caught a pass for a touchdown.
Yeah, he did.
Is he related to you at all?
Yeah, well, I'll claim him, but he said the play was that everybody was going to scatter, and he said I happened to be the only one that was open. They were, the other ones were being watched, and he was open, and the
Good.
quarterback got the ball to him. So yeah, so exciting, yeah. So.
Awesome. Thank you, Charlie. Adita.
Yeah, I just would like to say I don't know who organized all the coffee break at high school, but it was very well done. Thank you, Mr. Hansen, and whoever was there, the students, and I think that was great opportunity for people to see what is coming, and I just would say, just watch the debates. It was interesting to watch, and thank you again to school or whoever prepared that. They made it work. It was great.
And Chuck Pollock for getting all those videos.
Oh, thank you.
So thank you. Thank you.
I was also going to thank Mr. Hansen and all of the candidates for the coffee break debate. They were really awesome, and as a student, that was really informational for me. I would not have known what to do when I got to that voting box on November 8th, but now I do. So thank you to them.
All right. Thank you. Grant.
Taking my same ideas, because I was going to mention the same thing. I think it's another example of those debates where the community supports the school in so many ways, and this is one way that the school also gives back to the community and help share what happens there. So, thank you to Mr. Hansen and everybody.
I would like to thank Carrie Wad and Ann Fitch with the Chamber of Commerce for kind of heading up the job and career fair that was put on here a little while back. I know I went down to walk around. Charlie happened to be walking in at the same time, so we somewhat walked around together, and very positive, very good comments. I heard no negatives. I don't know about what you heard for sure, but nothing negative about how the kids, the students were really good and asked a lot of questions and well behaved, and there were a lot of people there when we were there walking around, as far as different employers and colleges and all that. So, and I was kind of surprised that we hadn't done something like that as a community before. I don't know if we ever have, but I was told probably not. But anyway, it was great that we finally did something like that, and I think it was really put on well. And next year, I think they're talking about doing it again and trying to get New Richland schools and Janesville schools involved, so it would be more of a county-wide job and career fair. So again, I just kind of want to thank Carrie and Ann and anybody else that helped them put on the job and career fair.
Yep, thank you.
For me, it's the indoor play, the Little Women. I know a couple of people that are in it, and they really enjoy, they put a lot of time into it, but they're really enjoying what they're doing there on stage. And you can see growth in a lot of the students and that are in it. So it's really cool.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, I had several things on my list, and a couple of them thankfully have been shared, so that's good. But in all of the sports that we recognize every year, and this is an exciting time for sections, I did just want to give a shout out to the girls tennis team. They had a really awesome season. They were undefeated for a long time, and then but they really successful, and I think they got knocked out a little early, unfortunately. But I meant to say something at our last meeting, and I just wanted to recognize them. And then I wanted to congratulate Shaylin Salgado, who was a Golden Apple recipient a couple weeks ago, and she is a level 3 special ed teacher at the high school. And I watched the KEYC video this morning, and it was exciting to see her reaction to that. But in one of her, I'll quote her. She said her overall goal for basically what she does as a teacher is to help her students fall in love with learning, and so I love that. And so she wants her kids to love learning, and I think that's definitely she was a well-deserved recipient of that Golden Apple. So, and also it was cool that she used to be Dr. Miller's student, and now she is a teacher in his building, and that's just a neat connection. So. Anyway, so that's all we had. Are we ready to move on then to our action items? All right. All right, so item A, we are acknowledging our annual assurance of compliance with state and federal law. And there is a link in the agenda for more information about this, but this is something that we do. We used to take action on it, and now we just need to acknowledge it, so.
Correct. Yes, we are in compliance.
Yes, well, goodness, I would hope so.
As we would expect, right.
Yeah. All right, so item B, can I get a motion?
I would like to approve acceptance of received gifts and donations of the amount of $500.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion? All right, hearing none, we'll call for a vote, and this is a roll call. So Caitlin, could you read the roll?
Grant Shepherd,
Yes.
Dave Dunn,
Yes.
Scott Demmel,
Yes.
Charlie Preed,
Yes.
Adita Mansfield,
Yes.
Julie Anderson.
Yes. All right, motion carries unanimous. Can I get a motion for item C?
I'll make a motion to approve the 2022-2023 foster care transportation agreement.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion? All right, hearing none, I will call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Can I get a motion for item D?
Yeah, I move that we approve October's National FFA Convention trip for the Waseca FFA. I believe there are 4 students attending.
Second.
We have a first and a second. All right, any discussion? And I believe they're leaving this week,
They're
right?
gone.
They're
They're
gone,
gone.
yes. I knew it was right about this time, yes.
Yeah.
Looks like they're having fun so far.
Okay, good.
Should we call them?
Yeah, you should call them and tell them it's okay that
That they're gone.
they're gone.
I think we were gonna, maybe last year we were gonna get a report, and then that didn't quite work out. It
Yeah.
might be something,
Yes.
it might be nice if we
Yeah.
hear.
Absolutely.
All right, if there's no further discussion, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous. They can continue their journey, so. Can I get a motion for item E?
I make a motion that we approve the district calendars for the 2023, 2024, and 2024, 2025 school years.
Second.
We have a first and a second, and did you want to just say really quick the summary of the calendars?
Yeah, in brief, the feedback we really received was that a spring break would be nice, but not at the expense of going further into June. And so we would have some decisions we maybe could make about starting earlier in the fall, but that wouldn't be something we'd make in haste here without having some more community conversations
Yep.
about what that would look like for Waseca, if we ever even considered that. So these are more the traditional school year calendars as you see linked in your agenda.
Are we leaving the student or the staff development days exactly the way we have them this year? Okay, so
Correct, same format.
Yeah, so we'll continue to have the long weekends like we have
Okay.
been, and
and a Monday, typically on Mondays?
Typically on Mondays or Fridays. I think there was some discussion about how come they're not attached to longer breaks. And I think the in good faith answer is productivity. And so having them and having them early in the month is important too. So staff can really look at what their students have done last month and prepare their next month of instruction.
yeah, they're strategically placed.
They are,
Yeah.
they are.
Yeah.
So I feel comfortable with where we're heading.
Okay.
All right, if there's no further discussion, I will call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Can I get a motion for item F?
I'll make a motion that we approve an individual contract for 2021 to 2023 with our Director of Technology Systems.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion?
May I ask why 2021 to 2023 if we are in?
Yeah, because that is the contract that remained open, was from
Okay.
2021, and that individual had
Okay.
some family things we delayed
Okay,
on.
okay.
So, yeah,
Thank you for the explanation.
yes.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Can I get a motion for item G?
I move we approve the staff sharing contracts with Team Academy Charter School number 4127 and Independent School District number 2168 in Richland, Heartland, Ellendale, Geneva. And we share several educators in that, so.
Second.
First and a second, any discussion? All right.
Those are all special education-oriented positions, which we share. Heather Harms and Linda Hullapeter direct all four of our local districts.
Yeah. But specifically, these teachers travel to those sites?
Correct.
Yep.
Yes,
Okay.
And is this contract essentially the same as what we had in the past? It's just another renewal?
correct.
Yep.
It's based on individual position each year and what each district's needs are, so that's why it looks a little different, but it's the same concept every year.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Can I get a motion for item H?
Make a motion to approve 2022 fall lane change list as presented.
Second.
I think Adita won. No. First and second. Any discussion?
We have a lot of staff who's doing a lot of learning.
Yeah, it was a long list.
And they
Yeah.
have an opportunity to improve their instruction and their skills, and I'm glad that our contract allows them to get some, obviously some benefit from that, as
Yeah.
well as being stronger in their job.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
maybe I should have been my recognition from prior and say, that's a great job for all those staff.
Do you have any idea what percentage of our teaching staff have their master's degree or a master's plus? Got a guess?
Over half would be my guess, but I don't know.
Okay.
We can look that up on the report card, Minnesota report card actually pretty quickly. But I know off the top of my head, no.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Can I get a motion for item I?
I make a motion to approve disposal of curriculum, and it is VHS series titled First Job Survival Skills, copyright 2001.
Second.
Little VHS tapes.
Yeah. First and a second.
Still had them.
Yeah, those might be a little, things might have been updated since then, so. Oh, maybe first job survival skills is still relevant in 2022 as it
think
was
so.
in 2001, same thing. I don't know.
Probably got a lot of use the
Yeah.
last 2.5 years.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Can I get a motion for item J?
I'll make a motion, we approve August dental claims.
Second.
First and a second, and that is the amount of $16,162.88. Any other discussion? All right, hearing none, I will call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Can I get a motion for item K?
I'll make a motion, we approve the internal service dental plan proposal, and this is the one that Elizabeth detailed out earlier.
Second.
Aditi can have it again. First and a second, any discussion?
I just think this is awesome for our employees. I mean, it's,
Well, and I recognize the need to to have a healthy fund balance, but at some point, it's time to also give some of that back, that benefit back, and I think that they made this decision wisely, so. And the fund balance will remain healthy even as a result of it, so. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none, I will call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Can I get a motion for item L?
I'll make a motion, we approve the master agreement level adjustment regarding the soccer program.
second.
First and a second, any discussion? Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, it's logically realigning the position to its duties.
Yep. Did this come from the WEA, or is this something that the district just,
So
Reviewed
this
on
was
their own.
presented by the coaching staff.
Okay.
Which then worked with our activities director, and we looked at what the different job responsibilities are, and then it's something the district would drive.
Okay.
So the EA's work would be to determine what the dollar values are for each level.
Right.
And then our work is to determine what's assigned to which level.
Right, okay.
And so we felt like the duties were more appropriate to move to that different level, and so that's why we're in support of
Gotcha.
bringing that to you for your approval.
it was initially prompted by the coaches and then,
Correct.
and then went up for review and, yep,
Yes.
okay.
We do that every year for a handful of positions where we're looking at updating job descriptions and
Sure.
looking at that, so.
All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries unanimous. Can I get a motion for item M?
I'll make a motion, we approve the reviewed policies that were reviewed at the October 10th meeting, 618, 619, 620, 623, 701, and 701.1.
Second.
First and a second, any discussion? All right, hearing none, I will call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous. And can I get a motion for item N?
I make a motion to approve second and final reading of revised policies numbers 603, 604, 605.
Second.
First and a second, any discussion?
I would just remind the board that the changes here were based on changes in statute and
Yep.
legislative adjustments. And so we're responding to that, which is the reason why they ended up in a little bit more significant change in some of the others.
Perfect, thank you. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none, I will call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous. All right, that brings us to the end of our action items. Upcoming items and reminders, as Mr. Hudspeth mentioned earlier, tomorrow he has a coffee with superintendent at 9 a.m. at the Pheasant. Otherwise, our next work session is next week, Thursday, so we don't get a break in between. We all have to see each other twice in 2 weeks. Prepare yourselves. No. So next week, Thursday, 5:30 will be our work session, and we're going to review. We're going to go over budget kind of stuff. Yep.
Budget work will be our focus next week.
Yep, we've had a lot of facility conversations, and next week will be more finance, so.
Correct.
And then our next regular meeting is Thursday, November 17th. So, any other reminders that we can think of?
Lots of activities going on
Yeah.
at the school, so as Lindsay mentioned, the more we can be out supporting our students and staff, this is a busy time of the year as fall begins, winter ramps up,
Yep,
first trimester coming down to the end, lots of fun.
yeah. Awesome, all right. If there's nothing else, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
We have a first and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.